What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we are back in the shop and we are continuing working on my Cherokee Chief project. Let me show you what we got going on. So the last video that y'all saw on this, I had cleaned up the wiring underneath the dash and everything, and since then I found some replacement seat brackets from a company. I can't think of the name. I'll put a link in the description. But so these seat brackets, you can see right here, they bolted right up. And I say bolted right up, so I had to completely replace these floors because they were completely rusted. So I lost exactly where my my seat bolts would go in the floor. So I had to look up underneath, and I saw I still had the nuts that were welded to the frame braces, or the seat braces. So I just had to drill up from those. And then I found these seats on Marketplace. I think I paid $200 for them. I think they're Smitty built or something. They're not my favorite, but for right now they'll work. And I'll show you. So I've got the battery disconnected right now. I'm working on getting my air conditioner hoses and everything. I got the new windshield wiper switch in, headlight switch, and also we are working on the tail lights, and you can see right here we've got some madness going on, but we're getting there. We've got it where it'll work, but we were having trouble with the brake light canceling out the turn signal. Or no, we were actually having trouble with the turn signal canceling out the brake light. So when you push the brake, both tail lights light up, and then you hit a turn signal and it should flash, and it wasn't flashing, but we figured it out, and now we've got to splice it in. So what I'm doing now is I'm removing the gasket that was originally on the windshield, and how I'm doing that is I'm just taking this paint remover disc right here and just going along and getting that gasket off, and it's also getting some surface rust off. So I did have some surface rust underneath it, and I looked online about what to do about it, whether I needed to cut it out or you know, just paint over it. And from what everybody said online was to get this patch and seam sealer from Pour 15, which is paint over rust. So what I'm doing is I'm removing most of the rust that I can, and then I'm gonna take my finger and just go across it and let that, you know, seat up and everything before I actually put the windshield gasket in. The windshield's on the way, so I'm gonna try to be putting the windshield in. I don't know if it'll be in this video or the next one, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So this is what I'm up against, and it's not bad, but it's just stuff like this you definitely don't want to seal behind any gaskets. And you can see I'm getting some of the surface rust off already. You can see right here, like, you don't want to put that behind a gasket without some kind of protection. So I'm gonna keep, may have to take a file to this and just try to get some of that surface rust off. But other than that, it's not bad. All right, let's keep working. Earlier in this video, you saw me putting the headlights together. It was pouring down rain, so I couldn't really do a good audio with that. But something else that I got from BJ's Off-Road, it came in, is the overflow tank for the radiator, and it just bolts right up. I had to drill the holes, so after I drilled the holes, it bolted right up. And so I'm slowly adding coolant to it just to make sure that it's not leaking. I don't want to dump out all my coolant, so I'm just doing it a gallon at a time. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I've been doing a lot of work on this thing behind the scenes. I haven't been filming myself. I've just been trying to focus on finishing this build instead of, you know, recording every little thing that I do. You know, I don't want to bore you, but then again, you know, I'm just trying to keep y'all informed on everything. But it's coming right along, even though I'm not documenting every little thing that I'm doing, such as the cross member. I did have to take it down. My drive shaft should be here in a couple of days, so but I went ahead and took the cross member down, and I filed them down. So I've got my cross member right here, and I did have to Dremel out a couple of the holes so the transmission mount will fit. And then whenever the drive shaft comes in, I'll know how much I'll have to clearance right here, because my yoke on my transfer case is like right here, you know, going forward. And you can see right here where I dremeled these out to make it fit. And this is where I'll be cutting right here. I'm going to try to use this, but I may have to end up fabricating a whole new one. But if I can modify this one to work, it'll save me a lot of time and headache. But then again, I don't want to spend too much time on it and it's not going to work. So, and I apologize about my messy shop. I don't know if you saw my little YouTube short video. I have completely destroyed this shop. It looks like a warehouse has exploded in here, because I'm trying to finish the AC, as you can see, and I'm trying to finish this, the wiring and everything. All right, guys, it's a new night in the shop, and look what came in. Just in time for my birthday. So yeah, today is my birthday, so if you don't mind, for my birthday present, if you would hit that like button and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It would definitely help out the channel. But anyway, let's look at these drive shafts. So I've never ordered any drive shafts from Tom Woods. It just kind of seems like the go-to for drive shafts for these full-size Jeeps. It's kind of what everybody seems to run, and they like them, so I figured I'd try them out. But I'm going to unwrap them and see what we got. Alright, so I got the drive shafts all uncovered. They did come with bolts, and they even came with tools or the adapter to grease the U-joints and everything. But everything seems to be the way I want it. So I'm 99.9% sure the rear drive shaft will just bolt up. The front is what's going to give me some trouble. You can see this large section right here on the double Carnigan system here. I have to clearance this to make room for this underneath there. Alright, so I got the drive shafts in, and I got the cross member over here. I went ahead and cut it. I forgot to film it. So here is the cut that I made, and what I plan on doing is I found this piece of metal. It already has holes in it, so it matches perfectly, but it fits perfect right there. And I do have about 1 inch of clearance with the drive shaft in. Of course, I don't know when it's flexed out, but I'm just going to tack it together right now, put it back on there, and probably flex the Jeep out and make sure that it clearances this fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brace this all up. You know, just put some 3/16 metal right here on both sides, and then of course I'll weld this on all around. But here's a 3/16 metal I'm cutting on my Swag bandsaw. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. This is my most used tool in the shop. So my plan is to just brace it up like this. Alright, so this will probably give you a better idea of what I was talking about. So you can see the clearance that I'll have right here, obviously. But that piece just did not want to go in. So I'll probably have to fill that in with weld. But I'm going to weld the top of it, flip it over, weld the back side. And I'm not going to do it all at one time. Just kind of do some passes and then let it cool. But I think it'll work. If not, we'll do something different. Alright, so I've got it all welded up and painted. So now I'm going to put it in and see where we're at. Alright, so I got both of these drive shafts in. I'll try to show y'all what I got. Little flashlight. Lighting is kind of terrible under here. But yeah. Got the front end too. And I'll show you my cross member so you can see my spacing right there, the new clearance. Got plenty of room. So with the cross member I did put grade 8 bolts, 8 bolts all the way. And here is it from the front side so you can see all the clearance I got. And I did flex it out a little bit, and it looks like I'm going to have plenty of room. That's my cross member mount, and I've just got to clean up this wiring, and then I've got to, so once I get my exhaust, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to hard mount my gas lines and my brake line on this side, and then I've got to figure out where I'm going to be putting these wires at, because I don't want to solid mount them and then have to just move them when I get the exhaust on. So my exhaust is just chilling right there. I ordered these shocks probably a year or something ago, before I even dove deep into the 5.3 swap or the 1-ton swap. And I got these from BJ's Off-Road. I think they were for like a 6-inch lift or something like that. And I couldn't even tell you the brand of them. They don't even say, but Anyway, we're just gonna run them for right now because I had them in my shop. And then the brackets that I'll be using, these are the shock brackets that I'll be using. I got these from Barnes probably about a year ago also, just never got around to putting them on. And it's a good thing I didn't because I took those axles out. But and like I said, I got these from Barnes. They're just weld-on shock brackets. So I'll show you how I'm gonna be getting these on the Cherokee Chief. So for right now, I'm going to be using the stock shock mount. I'm not super pumped on that. I really want to get like the F250 shock tower. That way it has a little more strength, a little more rigidity. But for right now, it'll work. So what I'm going to do is I've already cleaned up the axle right there with my flap disc. And now we'll figure out where the shock mount's going to go. So it is kind of cramped under here. Sorry about that, y'all. So I cleaned up my bracket, got some of that surface rust off of it. Like I said, I've had it for like a year, but got my digital level right here. And so what I'm going to be doing is put the shock on there, and I figured out exactly from the C on the axle, it's going to be 2 inches. And I'm going to be pulling this down, I believe it was 20 degrees. So what I'll do is I'll set this on the bottom like that. And then get my measuring tape. I've got it where I want it, so now I'm going to go ahead and tack it on. Just like that. And I'm going to check my measurements. Good. Degree finder. All right. All right, so got some decent welds on that. I'm gonna let it cool, and then I'll weld the bottom side, and then this side, and then the opposite side. But I don't want to heat that axle tube up too terribly much, so I'm just gonna let it cool right now. So underneath the rear, I'll be using the same bracket, and I've already got the shock on here. Obviously, I don't have it cut yet, but it's gonna be ran about right here in that area. I've got to get my measurements and everything the way I want it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a couple of measurements and put my degree finder on it, then I'll tack it in, put the shock on, make sure that it clears and everything, and then we'll go to the driver's side, do the same thing, then I'll fully weld all of it. Alright, looks good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just some beefy tacks on it for right now, and then I may end up just fully welding it, just committing to it, and then we'll go to the driver's side. Alright, so this is what we got right here. Welds aren't the prettiest, but they'll hold. So now we'll tackle the driver's side just the same. Alright, so I've got this one just tacked into place where it'll be. And now I'm going to tack it on this side, and then, let me get this out of the way. And then I'm going to test the shock, and then we'll fully weld it. The shock ended up fitting perfectly, and now I'm just gonna start welding this thing up. Alright, So got this one all done. You can see the weld penetration right there. That one's cooling off also. So now we just wait to cool, and then we can paint them and put the shocks in. Alright, so I got the shocks all put in. Looks alright, it's kind of dark. You see the passenger side here, and you can see the rear. So I don't think it's too bad. Everything bolted up. Went and got some grade 8 bolts to put in them. So I've pretty much been working on this thing every single night, weekends, weekdays, and I haven't been sleeping a whole lot, so that's probably why I have a cold right now. So sorry if my voice sounds terrible. It's pretty much because I feel terrible, but I've got to push through and keep on working on this because I am so ready to finish it and drive it. I don't know what to do. So what I'm doing also, when I'm kind of taking a break, like whenever I was waiting for my welds to cool off, what I was doing was I started putting these wires in these wire looms right here, just to kind of clean up the engine bay, and I think it's looking a little better. It's probably not a good place for that, but we're getting there. Hopefully the windshield will be in this week, and the gaskets and everything for that. I put on that paint over rust paste right here, and that stuff is hard as bricks. Pretty impressed with that. So I did get something else in the mail. I get something about every day, but I've got all the seals for the windows, the doors, the windshield, the tailgate, and you can see right here, these seals probably aren't going to do too good of a job, so we're going to be replacing those along with the door seal. I got these from BJ's, and I'll show you how I'll be putting those on. I've got it all unbagged here, and what I'm looking for are these two corners, these two sharp corners right here, to get these turned around. And let's see, so this is the top corner right here, and this corner goes up right here, and it's got the slot where that metal goes in right there. So I'll be using a trusted mallet very lightly. So I'm going to start lining this stuff up. Start pressing these corners right here. Just push that up. And these don't require any type of sealant. These are a dry seal. You start pushing this up. Back to this side. Just make sure that it's staying all the way seated up top. Just gonna start working it in the front. And you can feel when it seats. It's very rewarding. These corners are kind of tough to get with your hands, so this is when that trusty rubber mallet comes in. This seam right here, I actually fabricated. Mine was completely gone, but these are the pans, the replacement pans that I got, and they actually had a little lip, and then I had to come on this side and make one, and then I weld it all the way down, seam seal it, and then I put the truck bed liner. So this may be a little more difficult for me than it is you, if yours is not completely rusted like this one was. So I have read a lot online where people have issues with these new gaskets. They say the door doesn't shut very well. So you gotta kind of manhandle it a little bit. But they say what you do is you put these seals on, and then you go park it in the hot sun for a day or so, and those gaskets will kind of fit to the form of the door better. But anyway, it's pretty cool. So check this out. I put the hood on. This is obviously not the hood, the original hood for this Jeep. This is a Wagoneer hood, and I've got to get the piece that goes right here. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. I do like the color. It looks like somebody like spray painted it or something cool like that. I dig it. And I did put the springs on and everything. So it goes up very nicely. But what sucks about these hoods, man, if you have a Cherokee Chief or a Wagoneer or a J10, you know this pain. It is a pain to get to anything back here because you will hit your head. So that's why I kind of waited to put the hood on till the very last. But I've got to do some fitment, just to make sure it works. And then I'm probably gonna be doing hood pins on this too, just because these hoods and these vehicles are notorious for having one of the worst hood latches designs I've ever seen. But check this out. This is really cool. So turn the key forward, hit the left turn signal, and look at that. See it on the front. Nice. So excited. So I topped off the coolant and I bled the brakes and checked for leaks. I had a couple of loose fittings on my brakes, so I got those tightened up. And the power steering fluid, I topped that off. I checked the oil, the transmission fluid, it's all good. So we're getting there. The next thing I want to do is this windshield. I don't know if it's going to be in this video, but I may just do a separate video on that. But we are getting there, so I've got to figure out. So there's a lot of wires that I'm not using that I've got to figure out, and then I've got to figure out about these holes in my firewall, because you definitely don't want that. But that's one of those things you can get to eventually. Check this out. Got the Vortec cover on. It's official. I still got some more stuff to do. I've still got to, tuck some wires in, zip time out of the way and put some more wire looms on. But we are definitely getting there. There's my electrical tape. Whoops. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching this video of me putting my Cherokee Chief together. Hopefully, like I said, in the next video, we're going to get the windshield in, and we may actually back this thing out of the shop for the first time underneath its own power. So I'm super excited about that. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you on the next one.